Welcome to the commodities, and here we're looking at gold. And as we noted a little while ago, silver is in a weaker situation than gold, even though they've both moved down through here. And one of the reasons for that regarding the trading levels is that silver is under a major trading level of $20, trading level 2, where the gold here has still got really good support. The main support here is between 2030 and 2040, which is this whole block here. Yes, there will be support at the midpoint here as well, and we've got this trend line here, and this whole move up through here can be counted in different ways as well in terms of Elliott. So it's also not clear as well. We we know that it's some type of corrective pattern, but we just don't know with corrective patterns there. That's the weak point in Elliott, and they can just pretty much double in size and do all sorts of things. So we're not really, first of all, we're not seeing a breakdown in this current trend here. We wouldn't see that unless 240 became, and as it chipped away at the 230, 240 support here, then that would obviously be a breakdown. It would be a point of weakness if the 1250 here became a retested resistance. We're kind of expecting it to come down to 1248 sort of area and even onto this trend line here. But long as it stays above that, then it's still it can still push high from that point there. The current move down through here is finding support on the 1250, the midpoint, and it's also the 61.8 retracement level from this particular move through here as well, as shown here as well. This count down through here, it's the whole thing is a bit like the euro. It can be counted in different ways so far, so it's just a little bit unclear. It can be counted as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down into this area here, and pushing up from here. So we're just yet to see that. I've tried to pull it apart as best I can to look at it all. In terms of a little 1, 2 to here, then a 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5 for the third wave here, an A and a B and a C for the fourth, and down for the fifth here. That's kind of finishing in there now. I thought that might pierce through there, but it's holding quite nicely because I was looking at 1, 2, 3. I could see that with 4 here earlier this morning, and looking for a fifth to come down. It still may as well, but let's see how it goes. If it finds support on 1255, you could probably go along from that point there, but I'd be a little bit careful. When we have a look at silver, and silver was the sort of better short trade, this whole pattern here, we've always known it's corrective since the first 3-wave push here, but we've had to travel through all of this, which is a bit complicated. But what we are sort of seeing now is we are seeing that this is actually becoming weaker here, because it's finding it had support here, and now it's found the level 2 here as resistance here, and we're looking to short here, and you can bring the shorts down to the short stops down to 1983 here, and we'll see how we go with 1950 here. The 1950 would need to become the retested resistance before we can bring the stops down any further. But so you can either take money at 1950 and wait for it to become resistance, or just leave the stops at 1983. So you've got choices to make there. But as you can see, it is sort of rolling over. It doesn't have the best count to the downside either. This move down here can certainly count as corrective. So don't let these numbers here sort of fool you that it's got further to go down. The only sign of weakness is the fact that it's got 2000 here, the level here, as resistance here. But this can certainly be a corrective move to the downside, and a further extension of this complicated wave 4 moving through here. So we just need to be a little bit mindful and take one price point level at a time, and 1950 is next. That, as retested resistance, would set the price at 1930. Okay, the on the side of the downside is the base metals, and still looking for copper to move down further. We can see the price is 324.80 at the moment, so it's pierced through the 325, the number 5, which is a midpoint as well, and that's important. So we can expect that to move down to 323 in due course. So still weaker on the base metals and the resources, obviously reflecting back into mining stocks. Oil is to the upside, and slightly different count than we've got on the charts in the Elliott section. The Elliott section's got this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and this is as an A wave and a B wave back to here, and that's valid as well. But in this particular case, it's healthy to investigate and put all the counts that you can possibly see on the table and then eliminate them one by one. But in this count here, we're looking at this as wave 1 and wave 2 here, nice strong third wave, fourth wave, and the fifth wave here. And I can see here by looking at this particular structure here that it's got strong third wave here, so we'd be looking at wave 1 and 2 in here, third wave up here, fourth wave here, fifth wave here, then we'll get an A and a B and a C across here, at least that, before we see any upside. But it also can have a larger ABC from here if we consider this being a 5-wave structure to the upside. So essentially a classic trading levels pattern across 98. So we've got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then an A and a B and a C here in that case. I also want to come back to Brent here as well. I'll just drag this across here. It's on the 1-hour chart here. We're looking at this low area through here, and we're looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, moving up 5-wave structure, then an A and a B and a C since the last time we spoke, and from here, so we should see a push up from here as well. So you might be able to work off the 107 here, 107.30 from this point, but because we've got 5 here, we should see another 5 over here at minimum. Right, the soybean market, the grains, there's not a lot of change in the situation. We're still looking for a retest back into the 61.850 up at the 1300 here, and still allowing this market to work into a corner as such. If you've been following this, well, then you know where it's at. So look, there's not a lot of movement here so far on that, but still looking for a retest back up here. And it does appear that we've got 5-wave structure up through here, and then an A and a B and a C here. Let's see how we go with this. It could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If that's the case, we'll get an A, B, C, and then we'll get further up. So we're looking for that retest up there. Suppose if you get support on the 1285, a nice retested support, you can glean a small position and then look to add on top of the 1288 as well, and then the 1290 to the upside there. But don't race in just yet, because this move up here is in 3 waves, so you need to see it move a little bit higher up here to gain support there. But anyway, just splitting hairs on that. We're not ready for a proper trade there yet. The wheat market, I'm just looking at this on the weekly chart here, and one of the reasons for this, I may have pointed out before, I'm not too sure, but weekly chart, so it's moved down and it's traveling sideways for the last 3 odd weeks, and while it's been moving sideways, the volume's been diminishing, and that's what happens, and that's what coins it a corrective pattern. So eventually that should move to the downside there, so you can use a weekly robo for that, or even a daily robo for that as well through here. So we're looking for any break lower below any of these bars here for that. While it's in group 2 here, it's in 65 here. While it's in this group 2 here, you can't short it. You need to sell new lows in this particular case. The corn market is showing some interest here. As you know, we're looking at this trend that's been going down for, well, quite quite some time, as you can see here, a few years, and we noticed that spike there, which sort of helps us at least consider that there may be a low in place. But also too, I'm mindful that the bounce may not have come from an Elliott situation, but also more so from a volume situation from the medium level here, 400, where orders are gathering there, 405, I think that was there. So that said, the price 430 here is group 1, so 10, 20 and 30. So it's edging above that support there. And this is it just on the daily chart here. So you can see that it's up there, but we haven't got a closing price above the 430 yet. It's not sitting up there squarely. It's not there as a setup just yet. This is the 1 hour chart here. It's looking a bit more sort of promising. As you know, well, the spike up here is a bit tricky to count, but yeah, look, it's starting to take shape here. So we could buy new highs here, a new high up off here, a new high above here, or a nice support. So that highs at 432.50, so 432.51 or 53 would be nice for a break up there. Or if you can see support on 433 as well. Coming up here further to add to that as well, but it's kind of just gotten up there. It'd be nice if we just leave it for a little while until it sort of settles and we can see that it's there. But all said and done, the breaking of that high there would suffice to gleaning a small position. But the stop's got to go under here, so it would be nice to keep it under the midpoint, the 425 here. But don't put it at 8. It's got to go at 6 at least. At 6, 7 you may get lucky, but you get better results at putting stops at 6 rather than 7. The orange juice here, you can see that in terms of volume here, we can see that this particular bar through here had high volume. So there is pressure to the downside, and we're looking for it to come down further here. I'll just get onto the Elliott count here. What we're looking for is we're looking for a breach of 140, which we've got. And we've got a retest there as well. And we're looking down for the 50 and the 61.8 retracement level further down through here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave. We mentioned the short from the retest of 142 and also from the 140 here as well. So there is further pressure to the downside here. And it's good if you keep an eye on the US dollar as well. Staying above that 80.50 would be important as well. If we can just have a look at that while we're here. You know, a weaker dollar here is going to push those commodities to the upside here. So this is the US dollar here just on the 1 hour. So that 12.50, it really needs to stay above that low there, that 12.60 there. That's what it needs to do. I thought it was 80.60, sorry. It needs to stay above that to be healthy. Otherwise, this here, as I mentioned this morning in the FX section, is that it's just looking a little bit corrective, more like a corrective rally when we're sort of expecting an impulse wave up. But while it stays above certain levels, then we need to respect that. All right, that's it. Okay, cheers.